What's up, YouTube? Robbie Vapes back again, and today we are talking about the GClapton Coils by Atom Vapes, so stay tuned. That is right, YouTube. Today we are talking about the GClapton Coils by Atom Vapes, ATOM Vapes. Pretty much what we're going to talk about today is my overall experience with them, along with how I put this review together based on your feedback, and of course, this video wouldn't be complete without a giveaway. Atom Vapes has been kind enough to donate 7 of these packs of coils for giveaway, which means 7 of you will get the opportunity to try these out and to basically decide if you agree with this review or if you don't agree with it based on what you receive. That being said, I will start out the review with this. I was very surprised by what I received. I watched a lot of videos on these coils because I had very high hopes for them going into pretty much since day one, since as soon as I heard about these coils, I had such high hopes. Then I started watching reviews on them, and I got a little bit skeptical. I'm going to start the review by saying just this. I don't know what happened to the other people who got these coils, but I will say I love them. That being said, they're not high wattage coils. Keep that in mind. A lot of you call me insane or crazy because I vape at 100 plus watts on a regular basis, and that's what I like to do. The truth is, I dialed back my vaping style for the purposes of this review to give it a fair shot. And based on that fair shot, I ended up going back to some original Magnus coils, I went back to some Atlantis coils, I went back to the sub-tank coils, just to try them all out ahead of time, and then I got the Claptons in. I've had these Claptons for about a month now. So the big question is, why am I taking a month to work with these and to actually get back to you with an actual review on these? Well, it's simple. Based on your feedback, you said you don't like my vaping style because it's extreme and no one does it, apparently. I'm sure there's some people who disagree with that. I know there's tons of people who vape at 100 plus watts, especially on this TFV4 tank. But of course, that's not what this review is on. This is on the GClaptons. That being said, I took your advice to heart. And what I decided to do was I handed out a bunch of these coils to a ton of different people. Like I said, I started out with 3 packs of 4 coils. I'm down to about 5 coils left, including the one in my tank right now. I have 1 sub-tank coil left, and I have 3 of the Arctic tank coils left, and that's only because only one person I knew actually had an Arctic tank still. So, what was the purpose of doing that? Well, the reason why I wanted to do it was to get as much feedback as I could from other people, everyday users, and with different vaping styles. I found someone who has a vaping style preferably around the 30 to 40 watt mark. I found someone else who's typically around the 50 to 60 watt mark. I found someone else just like me who likes 100 plus mark, or the 100 plus mark wattage modes. He does not like going below that, just like me usually. And I say usually because this might be the one exception. Now, are these things going to win you a cloud comp? No, they're not. But that's not what they're designed for. But some of the things that I do like about this that I will say everyone else has agreed on, no matter who I've given it to, and those people include a store owner, they include a manager for a different store, they include a staff worker for a vape shop, and they include the general public as well, or I should be more specific, patrons of the vape shops. Now, I collected all their opinions on it and what their thoughts were, and I got to this general review which I'm putting out for you now. So the opinions on this review are not just my own, but they're actually based on several other vapors and the multiple vaping styles, which I talk about a lot in my other videos. The vaping style. Your vaping style might be 100 watts, or it could be 10 watts. You may even use an Ego or an EVOD 1 kind of thing, something with like maybe a smaller non-wattage type scenario, like a stick or a pen, and that's okay too. Unfortunately, there's not a GClapton for the pen, and you'll see why in just a bit. That being said, one of the claims on the boxes was that it actually lasts 33% longer than your average coil. That was a big claim to make, especially sending them to me, the master of destroying coils, in under a week. So how did it hold up? Well, it held up really fucking good, okay? It held up amazing. This is the same coil in this sub-tank nano that I've been using since day one when I received these coils. This coil has lasted me almost a month. That is unheard of. The longest coil life I've ever gotten out of any other coil that I can remember was maybe 3 weeks. Maybe. And that was not using as an everyday vapor, which is what I've been using this as. Now, admittedly, I did substitute it with, TFE4 or a dripper the odd time, but I stuck to this as much as I could. And with that, I got a month out of this coil. That is unheard of. Now, here's where everybody's going to come in with the comments and say, well, sure you did. What wattage were you vaping at? I bet you weren't vaping at 100 watts like we told you not to with the TFE4. True, I wasn't. I was vaping around 40 to 45 watts. That being said, I am tired of that argument. Do not tell me my coils burn out because I vape at 100 watts, and then tell me that it's unfair to say this one lasts longer because I vape it at 40 watts, because there is a key difference. The TFE4 clearly states on the packaging, recommended wattage, 60 to 140 watts for the quad coil. This one clearly states on the packaging, 25 to 45 watts. If your coil is going to burn out after 3 days, and you're going to blame me for vaping at 100 watts, which is actually pretty much in the middle of your recommended wattage range, don't piss at me because I vape at 100 watts. It is clearly stated on the coil that it will handle 60 to 140 watts. If it can't handle 140 watts for more than an hour, don't put it on your fucking packaging, or don't bitch at me when I complain about getting an hour out of a coil. Just saying. With these ones, they're described as 25 to 45 watts. No matter what you want to say about how high I vape, or how hot I vape, or anything like that, and that's why my coils are shit, let's just put it this way. I have never actually gone over the recommended specs on a coil. I know I'm sounding a little bit pissed off right now, and that's because I kind of am. I am so tired of hearing that I'm vaping too high, yet I'm actually in the recommended range. You can bitch at me all you want when I take the TFE4 to 150 and it lasts 20 minutes. Sure, then you have the right to. But when I'm within that recommended wattage range, I don't want to hear bitching and complaining from anyone saying that I'm vaping too hot. That being said, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So yes, the coil life in this lasted a month. Could I get a month out of the TFE4 at 40 or 50 watts? Maybe. Would I be satisfied with the vape? No. That's the key. Was I satisfied with this vape? Yes, to a certain point. And that is where the other opinions come into play big time. My vaping style, as you've said before, is extreme. Sure, understandable. But the rest of the people, with one exception, are not. So how did they find these coils? Well, the general consensus was they last a long fucking time, which is awesome. The second thing to note is that the flavor is as good, someone actually said it was better, than the factory coils. I kind of agree with that one person. Everyone else was kind of staying around the realm of it being, it's about the same, give or take. It's not something I'd be willing to spend $40 on for a pack of. But when you put into perspective the fact that it's lasting twice, if not 3 times longer than the original factory coils, maybe the extra price tag doesn't seem so bad. And of course, these are not actually $40 coils. That is just the impression they give because they're beautifully created. They're gold plated. These are $20 for a pack, which is not bad. In Canada, if they are $20 in Canada, which unfortunately they're not, they're $20 US, but if they were $20 in Canada, they would actually be right on par with their competitors of the exact same coil, or the factory coils. In the States, I'm sure you can get the coils for anywhere from $8 to $12. These ones are $20. So yes, you are paying more. You're paying about double the price for them, give or take. But if you're getting 2 or 3 times more life out of them than the factory coils, which is what everyone has found unanimously from who I've given these coils to, economically speaking, it is worth it. Not to mention, you're not changing your coil as often, so maybe if you're really lazy like I am, that's a pro as well. I don't know. Anyways, like I said before, the general consensus from everyone who I gave these coils to was positive. No one had anything negative to say, with potentially one exception, and that was my counterpart who also vapes at 100 plus watts. And that was a staff worker at one of the vape stores. He's also a heavy dripper user. He, for the longest time, refused to use a tank until the TFE4 came out, and that was the very first tank he actually went out and bought and enjoyed. He likes 100 plus watts, no doubt about it. He didn't hate the coils, but he said he wouldn't go out and spend money on these coils. It wouldn't replace his TFE4, which for his vaping style is understandable. If you're used to vaping at 100 plus watts, are these going to replace a TFE4 or a dripper? No, they're not. But if you're vaping in that 30 to 60 watt range, these might replace them. One of the store owner who actually gave these to, his typical vape range was around 50 to 60 watts, maybe a little bit higher. He put one of the Atlantis coils in his Magnus tank, and he's been vaping it ever since. He has not changed his coil. He has changed his liquid several times over. He's done, he's actually brought it up to about 50 watts, which is higher than the recommended wattage. No problems, no burning, great clean taste, and that's it. So what is the key to making these work? Well, that's the part I haven't quite figured out yet. After watching all the reviews on everyone else's channels on these coils and seeing just how much people did not like these coils, I'm struggling to find out what the difference was between their coils and my coils. What are the facts that I know of? Well, I know I received my coils at least a few weeks after a lot of these other guys got them. Did they change them based on those first initial reviews? I'm thinking they may have. That being said, a lot of the things that were mentioned in particular, I'm just going to point out the video that I relate to the most because it was the most in-depth, but Vaping Fagan's video, if you haven't watched it, it's a great video, go check it out. But again, mine's on the other side of the coin. He didn't like these coils, I actually do. But the difference is there, a few of the things he pointed out are actually still part of the coil. For example, the gold plating actually covers the cotton that goes around the coil itself. It still covers it, so that was not changed. The coil itself on the inside, was it changed? It doesn't look like it, to be honest. So I don't know what happened to those first batches. Maybe something messed up in the machine. I don't know what would have caused it, but something caused, in my personal opinion, the first few batches that went out just not quite being the way they should have been. This batch, on the other hand, all three of these boxes, all the coils in the boxes so far I've used, like I said, I only have 4 left, and all the coils that have been used by other people who have given them to have been great. No one has had any complaints about them at all. No one has had a coil that didn't work. No one had a coil that, had a weird taste to it or anything like that. So the big thing is, ultimately, through my experience, I believe they've changed something in their manufacturing or something happened to make their coils better suited to where they should have been. The flavor is great. The vape production is not bad. What are the pros? What are the cons? Let's start with the cons. There's really only one con to this actual coil, and that is the ramp up time. Even maxing it out at about 45 watts, it will take time to ramp up to get that flavor going. That being said, one of the things I noticed on the packaging that was quite interesting to me was do not chain vape. It basically tells you to take a hit, put it down for 30 seconds, and then take another one. So the question is that an actual statement, or is that statement actually true? Let's find out. This is at 45 watts on the X Power by Resser with the Subtank Nano. We're going to start chain vaping, and let's see if we get a dry hit. Now again, you'll notice that ramp up time is quite long, but the longer you chain vape, the better it gets. I'm going to stop right there. I'm not getting a dry hit, I'm not getting a bad taste, I'm not getting a burnt taste. The only reason I'm stopping is because, I have to catch my breath for a second. The reason I'm stopping is because I just chain vaped much longer than I think most people would do on average. I don't see anyone doing more than 6-7 hits at a time. That was an extreme scenario. I pushed to the limits, as you saw, 45 watts on the X Power by Resser. No dry hit, no burnt hit, And in fact, the interesting thing is, the longer I chain vape, the shorter the ramp up time, and the better the flavor the flavor was received, I guess. I'm trying to figure out how to word that. I don't know why I just had a major brain cramp or whatever, but basically, yes, the flavor gets better as you chain vape more and more. It becomes more potent, and the reason why is because it's not taking as long to heat up. And the reason why it doesn't take as long to heat up is because it's a Clapton coil. They stay hotter longer, so it has a much longer cool down period than your average coil will. Again, I mean, you just saw me chain vape like crazy. I'll take another hit because I want to, but and again, that one had a bit longer ramp time because I put it down for a little while. I actually recommend, based on what I've experienced so far, using the coil to chain vape. It's great. Rather than taking 1 or 2 hits off this, I can take 7 or 8 hits on that, and by the 7th or 8th hit, I am at least fully satisfied, if not more, because I'm getting the vapor, I'm getting the flavor, and let's not forget, this coil is a month old. So, with all that being said, I don't think anyone expected this, but we actually are going to go down and dirty with this coil in just a moment, but first let's talk about the giveaway. So, what are the rules to the giveaway? Well, it's quite simple actually. Basically, leave a comment below. You must be 18 years or older, you must be a subscriber of mine, and basically from there, that's pretty much it. Subscriber, 18 plus, and it's recommended you're on myvaporium.net. It's a great social vaping site. If you're not already on there, go check it out. I also recommend subscribing to Hank Vapes, Vaping Heathen, and actually a new vapor here in Calgary, who I've actually been working with closely on breaking mods, Donnie Latosky, which is her YouTube name, or Dawn of Lady Clouds. Go check all of them out. Make sure to subscribe to them as well. It's always appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to any of those guys, go check them out. In the meantime, my rules for this one are pretty simple. You must be a subscriber of mine, and you must be 18 years of older. Also, 1 comment per person, of course. That's just how it is. If you want to discuss the Claptons more, because I think that these coils are going to bring up a lot of discussion, and that's why I was debating on doing this in another video, the giveaway itself, message me on YouTube or shoot me an email or something. My email's on my YouTube channel. It's robbievapes@gmail.com. Very simple. Shoot me an email if you have any questions on these, and I'd be happy to answer them. That being said, I will have one additional rule for this actually, now that I think about it. Anyone who posts in the comments and is a complete asshole, you will not be qualified. I said it, yes. Obviously, I've been taking a few comments more recently, especially in my TFE4 versus Crown video, where some people weren't exactly the nicest to me. I can handle it, I'm a big boy. That being said, I'm also a big boy with a YouTube channel doing a giveaway, and I have a little bit of power in that. So if you're an asshole in the comments, you may as well just fuck off, because it's not going to happen. That's what I'm saying. Now, being an asshole doesn't mean criticizing me or suggesting anything or anything like that. Being an asshole is just being an asshole. If you're an asshole, if you're going to be a troll and you're going to kind of just troll my videos, honestly, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. But on this particular video with the giveaway, your ass is kicked. So it's been said. Now, that's the rules of the contest. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and yes, there will be 7 winners of these. With that being said, what we're going to do in the down and dirty section is we're actually going to, and I'm actually going to maybe shed a little bit of a tear here, we're going to check out what this coil looks like after a month of vaping on it. I am very curious to see if the cotton held up. I'm very curious to see if there's any kind of residue in the coil or anything that I should be worried about. But this is a month of vaping on this coil, and given the flavor I've just got from the chain vaping I just did, I don't think it's going to look too bad. That being said, I'm kind of sad to tear it apart because I've never had a coil last this long, but I do it for you guys, the fans. So with that being said, let's get down and dirty with the GClapton by Atom Vapes and check out this coil to see what is on it. Alright guys, we are down and dirty with the GClapton coil by Atom Vapes. You can see here, let's see if I can get it to focus here for you. There you go, the GClapton Atom. There's your 1 wicking hole. 24 karat, 3/9 pure, plated gold. or I should say gold plated, 25 to 45 watts, 0.3 ohm resistance, and your other wicking hole as well. At the top, like I mentioned before, you do have the gold plating covering the cotton wicking on the sides here, so you're pretty much just seeing access to the coil itself. Down at the bottom, you have your 510 connection, or your connection pin, I should say. And also, if you see really close right here, you can see that that's one of the connectors on the coil itself. So that's where it's going to connect to. What we're going to do is we're going to try and dismantle this thing, but before we do, actually, let's check out the packaging for it and just give you a quick tour of the package it comes in. So here we have the GClapton Sub-Zero 0.3 ohm OVC coils. You can see here 24 karat, 3/9 pure, gold plated. Right here, if you want to scan this QR code for more information, by all means, be my guest. Hopefully I can get it to focus here. There we go, that should be good. Also, dispose this packaging responsibly. More info at earth911.com. I like that little recycling package on there. Scan QR code or like us on Facebook for discounts and giveaways. Or you could watch my channel for giveaways too. A little bit of a plug there, but whatever. Anyways, here's the back of the box. I'm not going to read this all, but basically you have your usage specs, so the resistance and the recommended wattage, the amount of coils you get inside of it, the compatibility for these coils. As you can see here, this one says Kangaroo sub-tanks, and this one says Arctic tanks. The other one had the Heracles and Atlantis coils compatibility on there, but I don't have that box anymore. I wish I could show it to you. In the meantime, hopefully this does the trick. So you'll notice compatibilities on the back of that. And also, actually in the giveaway video, make sure to comment on the device that you want to be using these coils for. Just want to say that right now. So again, if you want to pause the video right here, by all means, go ahead to read the entire box. One other thing I want to point out, designed in Holland, engineered in the UK, 18 plus, not suitable for pregnant women. And the big one, 30% longer life than other coils, which I can personally confirm is most definitely the case, if not more. So there's packaging. Let's start trying to take this thing apart. I've got some tweezers here, but I've also got the needle nose here, which I'm hoping will help as well. This is very hard to do on camera, so I may go off camera. But basically what we're looking for is, and there's your little connection pin. Basically what we're looking for is, what do the coils look like after a month of vaping on it, and what, more importantly, does the cotton look like after this long? Alright guys, we are back. I've taken the whole thing apart. I have everything laid out here, and a few things I want to talk about, but before we do, I just want to say it was actually very easy to get it out. Basically all I had to do was remove the little rubber seal here that was around here. Once I removed that, I basically took out the two ends of the wires. I think I just lost that rubber seal. Oh, here it is. Way over here, went flying. Basically what I did was I took out the two connectors, the two connections, the positive and the negative, from here, pulled it out, and actually not only did these come out, the cotton itself came out for the most part as well. There is still a little bit in there if you can see it. I'm hoping you can get a decent angle in there. It's pretty white in there. So the cotton on the sides here seems to have been pretty good. The cotton on the inside, however, is a little bit burnt. And keep in mind, this is 1 month into vaping, and I'm telling you, I promise you, I did not taste any burning whatsoever. So considering here's cotton, what it looks like now, a couple sheets here, it really did not feel burning to this. In fact, I'm actually a little bit surprised that there was even a little bit of burning on here, considering the taste and the flavor I was getting out of this device, or out of this coil. Finally, we have the Claptons themselves. As you can see here, here they are. There is also a little rubber white piece on this part. If you can see that. See that? I'm sure I could take that off if I wanted to, but I'm too lazy and don't really give a shit. So here's the coils. You can see them right here. Pretty clean coils, not too bad. You will see a slight blue tinge, and that's because these are nichrome wrapped. So it's Kanthal wrapped nichrome. I believe, just looking at this, I want to say this might be probably 26 gauge Kanthal. I could be wrong though. So it looks to be 26 gauge Kanthal. And again, I'm trying to get that focus in there. Apparently it only works with this hand. Let's see if we can do this. So it looks to be 26 gauge Kanthal wrapped with what I could only imagine. I mean, this is super, super skinny nichrome. I would probably say 34 or 36 gauge nichrome based on the appearance here and how small it is. Pretty well put together, and like I said, a month out of this coil is actually not very surprising. Claptons just tend to last longer. You know, there's not much more to say than that. Claptons, in my personal opinion, can last a long time. I'm still running the same Claptons in my Twisted Messes that I got back in Ontario 2+ months ago, and they work great. So yes, it's an RDA though. This is not, but even still, a month plus. I mean, again, I didn't get any burnt taste out of it. The cotton for 1 month old is not that bad. I don't know if anyone saw my post on Instagram, but I posted a picture of my TFE4 coil after 2 weeks, and it was grungy as hell. I didn't take it apart, and I probably should have. In fact, I should check if I still have that coil so I can show you guys. So guys, I changed my mind. We're going to check out the TFE4 coil. I couldn't find the quad coil, but I do have the tri coil here. So we're going to take this apart and see what the cotton looks like in this, and compare it to how that is after a month, compared to how this was after only 1 week. So let's check it out. I know it's not going to be the best comparison because it's different wattages, but I'm going to try and take this apart. I'll probably do it off camera, and what we'll do then is we'll see what it looks like. So, be back in a second. Alright guys, we are back. This is the cotton from the TFE4 tri-coil. This is just one of the coils in there. There's obviously 3. This is just one of the 3. You can see here, it's pretty black, and this is after about a week of use. And the biggest sign though to me isn't necessarily the cotton, but look at this, the wiring here. You can kind of see, hopefully I can get it to focus, particularly where my thumb is. You can see just how black and crusty it got. Something about this coil is just crusting over, and I think it's part of the cotton. You can kind of see me just kind of take it off there. Kind of crusty looking. I don't know if that's cotton or not actually. It's really weird how that's looking. It's definitely black though. When you compare these two together, you know, the Clapton one has a little bit of a blue tinge to it. The TFE4 has a clear, distinct black tinge. And again, try and get it to focus. So yeah, so overall, I mean, this is a 1 month old coil. This is a 1 week old coil. So that really should be the defining factor right there. It's just how different these coils are, and that they really do last quite a while. Even comparing the cotton here, you know, again, I know it's different wattages and things like that, but these are based on their own recommended specs. Keep that in mind. Just see how black the top one is. The bottom one's fairly black as well, but the noticeable difference is this one kept its flavor, this one just didn't. I feel like as soon as you get to that singe mark on the cotton, you're basically fucked. So anyways, guys, just wanted to interrupt right there real quick. I know it's going to be a long video. I apologize in advance, but wanted to show you every detail I could, and hopefully some of you actually may have wanted to see the inside of that the TFE4 coil, for specifically the tri-coil. You can just kind of see in there right now what it looks like. There's the hole from the one I just removed. All I did again was take these 2 little leads here, pulled it out, and the cotton came right with it. Pretty easy to do, but yeah, it's quite compelling to look at when you consider that one's only been used for a week, maybe not even. The other one's been used for, you know, a month, probably could have been going more, and this one just clearly was the better winner. So with that being said, guys, let's go back up top and finish off the video from there. Alright YouTube, we are back up top talking about the GClaptons by Atom Vapes, and the big question is, do I recommend them? In fact, let's go a step further. Would I go out and buy these myself? At a retail price of about $20 US for me, with the exchange rate, with shipping, we're looking at $30+ for a pack of 4 coils. That's pretty expensive. So the big question is, would I actually go out and buy them and spend the $20 US on these coils? The answer, I absolutely would. I have 1 sub-tank nano coil left, or sub-tank coil left, which I'll be using my nano. Just immediately after this video is done, I'll be putting it in. And I gotta say, I'm in love with these coils. It's not gonna be a flavored or a cloud chaser and win you cloud comps or anything like that, but it is going to be a satisfying, flavorful vape. And that is one thing that I kind of miss. And on top of that, it's not a juice guzzler. It's not guzzling juice like the TFE4, it's not guzzling juice like the Crown. I go through about 2 to 3 tanks a day on the sub-tank nano. The nano, that's like a 2 ml juice tank. And I'm going through only about 3 tanks a day. Now again, like I said before, I am supplementing the sub-tank nano with the GClapton alongside of, say, a TFE4 or a dripper. So yes, it's not my only device, but it was for the longest time my primary device. And you saw what those coils look like. You saw what it compared to a TFE4 coil. ultimately, if I'm getting a month per coil, if I spend $30 Canadian for these coils and they last me 4 months, each coil lasts me 1 month, $30 for 4 months of coils is insane. I spend $30 for maybe 1 month of coils on the TFE4 to give you a quick comparison on that view. So yes, if you're into that wattage range that I recommended before, the 40 to 60 watt range, maybe even the 30 to 60 watt range, I do like these coils a lot, and I think you will as well. If you're into that 100 watt plus range, it depends on how open you want to be to it. Like I said, the person who I gave the Arctic coil to, they weren't so open to it. They did not like it, but then again, they didn't even like the original Arctic coils as well. It's not like that these coils were worse than them, it was that he just didn't like both of them. And I think that's a telling sign, because no one actually preferred the factory coil to these ones. I mean, I'm just going based off what other people's opinions are, what my opinion was, and I hope this was a more thorough review for anyone watching. I didn't want to keep it to the point of just being my own personal opinion because I'm an extreme vapor and things like that. No, I wanted this to be based on several opinions at different wattage preferences, using different devices, and to get a general consensus on whether or not these coils were good. And the general consensus was, yes they are. So do I recommend them? I do. I know several other people who have given them to would also recommend them, and ultimately I would go out and buy another pack of these, absolutely. That being said, guys, that will end the video here. I apologize for it being so long, but before we go, I just want to say good luck to everyone who enters the contest. In order to enter, here are the rules really quickly again. 18 plus only, must leave a comment, must be a subscriber, again, only 1 comment per person, and of course, no assholes. And I'm sticking to that one, so I don't know. I don't want to be harsh, guys, but it's just, you know, I understand people want to vent and people feel the need to vent, and I can take it. Like I said, I'm a big boy, so I don't really give a shit if you want to bash me, it's fine. But in this video in particular, I'm going to delete your comment. Normally I leave them up because I just don't care. I'm happy you took the time to watch even part of my video, and if you leave anything constructive, I will build upon it in future videos. Until next time, guys, happy vaping!